Good evening, baseball fans. It is Sunday, June 22nd. I had to double check the date because it was not in my brain. Anyhow, I am Suzy. That is Tom. This is Bourbon and Baseball Astros edition. And yes, I am aware it has been exactly 84 years since we have last podcasted. I am being facetious, but I really think it's actually been 2 months, almost to the date. But we're here. You're welcome. You're welcome. I know lots of you have missed us. There's been things going on in my life. Tom has moved and is all like there now. So we're back. You're welcome. Tom, how have you been?
Look, for the people out there that want to know what's going on, really what it's all about. The Astros haven't lost a series since we quit recording. So we just can't record because they just don't lose. So it's kind of like a not superstitious, but kind of stitious thing. The Astros have won a lot since we quit talking baseball. And that's not really what it is. It just sounded like a good segue into that. 9 straight series. It makes sense. It's been a couple months.
I was going to say, that's not the reason, but I was just going to let you roll with it and see how far you went. But before we go any farther, folks, if this is the first time you are catching one of our episodes, you should know this is a rated R episode. No, a rated R show. Just all of the shows are going to be rated R. You should know that up front. So there's lots of cussing. There will probably be a few inappropriate sexual innuendos because that's just who I am as a person. So if that is not okay with you and or any little ones listening, just put some earmuffs on them or put like an earbud in and just listen while you don't teach your 4-year-old the word fuck. So there you go. That's your warning. You have been warned. And if that's not your jam, that's okay. There are lots of other Astros podcasts out there for you. They're not as fun as us. They probably record on a more regular basis, but they're definitely not as fun as us. Anyhow, so with that, away we go. Like Tom had mentioned, we have won a lot of series. A lot. And it's been a rather enjoyable experience winning those series, but a few close calls. I wasn't able to watch this last game, like today's game.
Probably a good thing.
Probably a good thing.
For your blood pressure, definitely not good for you today. Was not. We'll get into it. But
I was listening to it. I was listening to it, and I was watching the game cast. But it's the Angels, guys. What are we doing here? Why? I know why. I take that back. I know why. It's because our starting rotation is being held together with rookies and Elmer's glue. That's
there
why.
Are 2 dudes that started this rotation when the season started. 2 lonely dudes. FramberValdez, HunterBrown. The other 3 guys, I would ask the casual fan to name them because there's a good chance they can't.
I mean, at this point, I'm all Spencer Arrighetti, stand up. And then I'm all, wait, who's 4 and 5? Oh, shit. Yeah, Ronel Blanco out there with Tommy John. It's been that long since it's been out there, and I totally spaced on Ronel Blanco. Now I'm like, who the fuck is the 5th? It's been that long. I don't know.
Do you remember
genuinely.
who the 5th was? You genuinely don't?
I am going back in the... What?
He was part of the Kyle Tucker trade.
Oh, Hayden Wesneski.
Wes Nasty was in the rotation. I don't know if the casual fan can go back that far and remember that he was part of the trade because the other 2 pieces have been so great. You almost forget that guy exists because he also blew out his elbow and he is also done for this year.
Yeah, I don't even know why I forgot about him because I literally, in Julia's last TikTok, where she basically asked the entire team what the ending of the Mike Jones number is. Did you see that TikTok?
I saw some of it, but I didn't see the whole thing. I just saw the first 2 or 3 guys, and I was like, all right, I know the answer to this question. I'm going to keep it moving.
Yeah, but the fact that some of the guys who knew the answer and then some of the guys who didn't know the answer just cracked me up. But Hayden Wesneski was one of the ones that did not know the answer. And he was so earnest in his answering. She had asked him, and he's like, 713, 832, and she's like, no, what? And he was so earnest. It was adorable, and the cutest thing. But Christian Walker, I wasn't aware of your game, sir. Okay,
He was ready.
did not expect that from Seawalk. Josh Hader all day, every day. You knew Josh Hader was gonna go off, but Christian Walker, that one surprised me. But another thing that surprised me was who the Astros signed on a minor league deal.
How are
Literally
you
just
surprised?
before the pod dropped. Just before the pod dropped. Welcome back to the fucking Astros organization. John Big old backflip Singleton. My question is, though, since we're re-signing him to a minor league deal, does that mean it restarts the whole like shuffling process on how many times he can get called up and sent down and called up and sent down, or no?
I would think it wouldn't, because he's got so much service time. So
Okay.
I think kind of one of those deals where he comes up, he stays up. He's, as long as he's in Sugarland, he's probably okay. What I don't understand about this move, and the first thing I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. The Astros just traded for a first baseman. They traded the Milwaukee Brewers for a first baseman that was blocked in their organization.
Has that been verified by anybody else in anybody else besides Francis Romero?
I don't know the answer to that question. I will definitely look, but
because I don't think any of the guys like Chandler or Matt or Ari, besides citing like Francis, I don't think anyone else has reported that.
True.
And like not even anybody on the Brewers side has reported it. And so I'm not saying that Francis is wrong or anything, but I'm just saying like I've not seen anything that has corroborated his report.
The name of the individual is Wes Clark, and the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel confirmed it, I guess. It says the team announced it June 18th. So
okay.
I would think that means it's official.
For what? Cash? For
yes. Says here, the Milwaukee Brewers traded minor league slugger Wes Clark to the Houston Astros in exchange for cash. The team announced June 18th, which was 4 days ago.
Interesting.
If you were doing stuff on the weekend, you would have missed it. Says Clark wasn't on the 40-man roster, but he had been playing Class AAA Nashville, drafted as a catcher out of the University of South Carolina in 2021. The 25-year-old had flashed intriguing power at points in his career, including 26 homers at Class 2A Biloxi in 2023. He slugged 21 homers in 2024 over 2 stops with 18 in Nashville and posted an .812 OPS this season. He's hit 6 homers and 182 plate appearances with a .710 OPS. He also hasn't done much catching in recent years, setting up behind the plate for just 33 games in 2023. So he's been a first baseman, designated hitter primarily.
Interesting. All right, well, yeah, I don't know. Did the Mets release John? Though that's what I didn't. That's what another thing I don't understand.
What I saw the other day was that John elected free agency. It was one of those like he could choose whether to stay with them in a minor league capacity or become a free agent, because there's like a certain amount of time when you sign those contracts where you either have to give him a shot or give him his release so he can go find a shot somewhere else. And I think that's what happened. And now he's back in Houston or Sugarland.
Interesting. All right. Well, there is that. So again, welcome back, Big John. I appreciate your bat flipping ways. My question is this in response to Christian Walker not playing up to what we all expected? Is this going to be a platoon situation? Or is this just we're just going to stash John in AAA just in case?
I would think that he would have to be called up first for me to have to wonder what his implication or role is, anything like that. I think they want to have options. I don't know that they want to be without. I think what I think is more intriguing probably for me, he's left-handed. The Astros are severely hamstrung in the left-handed hitting department. You're seeing CooperHummel get a lot of run because he's left-handed. And I think you're seeing VictorCaratini get a lot of run because he's left-handed. So I
Well, because he can
believe,
switch hit.
yeah, well, that's correct. But I mean, because when they play him, it's not to bat right; it's constantly to hit left-handed. I would be interested to see how many times Victor has even hit right-handed. I think it's all left-handed. But
I think there's been a couple of times when he's come up against left-handed pitching that they've switched sides on him, but for the most part it is left-handed. But
yeah, I wonder if, until Jordan comes back, that maybe there's a scenario where they could play Big John at first and DH Seawalk. I don't think this is in any relationship to what his numbers are or anything that says, oh, maybe they will sit him. I don't see that being the case. He had 2 hits today. I think there's a lot of numbers that says Seawalk is on his way back to where he should be. A lot of hard hit contact. It's just right now he's unlucky. I think he's been unlucky a lot this year with a bunch of different stuff. But I mean, we can talk about that later. So I just really think that this is about having options that are left-handed.
well, and you brought up a really good point. You said that, when Jordan comes back, if you've been living under a rock or you only catch a couple of Astros games every now and then, we've been doing all of this winning without Jordan Alvarez, y'all. Without Jordan Alvarez, we've gone, what is it, 14-5? Is that our record in June?
I thought it was 14-6 or 15-6, something like that.
I don't know. This is not a
think it
math
was
pod.
6
I'm not that
losses.
Asian. So that's 14-5. Close enough. Regardless, we've done all of this winning without Jordan Alvarez helping out in any way, shape, or form. Like, if I were to just tell you, hey guys, did you know that in June we have this like massive winning record and you didn't know anything about the team, you would think that Jordan Alvarez is batting in the middle of this lineup. And it is not consisting of Jake Meyers hitting second and Cam Smith hitting cleanup. The fact that we're doing this with a skeleton crew is a little mind-boggling. Now, granted, JeremyPeña is playing to an all-star caliber player, FYI, better than Jacob Wilson. I don't care. We will fight. We will fight anybody. I will fight anybody, anytime. Jacob Wilson and his happy little feet. I actually really like him, so I don't want to say he can go fuck himself. But him and his little happy feet need to go somewhere because JeremyPeña is that dude. And the only reason that Bobby Witt is getting all of the freaking votes is because it's Bobby Witt Jr. Now, you want to put some numbers up against Bobby Witt. Like, let's compare the numbers from Bobby Witt and JP3 this season. Let's do that and see who the better shortstop is this season. Come on now.
Well, I think really Astros fans need to do a better job of voting. Because the fact that Jacob Wilson has all the votes right now is really more indicative of like Astros fans not getting out and voting. So if you're watching, go vote for this man, make him an all-star. I think he'll be there regardless, but I really think that he deserves to start. Doobie was interviewed after today's game and said, that's the starting all-star level, like he's playing at that clip. He should be the starting shortstop for the American League this year. They wouldn't be where they are without him. So it's on us kind of right now to put that man in the All-Star game.
Another huge oversight on A, All-Star voting, and B, another reason why we're doing so well this season is that man, IsacParedes. Isaac motherfucking Paredes is like 6th in All-Star voting for third baseman. What are we doing here, guys? Stop it. You stop it right the fuck now. I need everybody to go pause this, come back though, pause this, and go vote for IsacParedes and JeremyPeña. Okay, and then come back. But I need you guys to go out. I need you guys to do the votings. Hell, make up the email addresses, okay?
She's not saying, but she's saying.
Hey, all you need is an email address, right? So if I create a bunch of email addresses that I have, who's to say? Who's to fucking say?
True.
So go. Pause us. Come back though. Pause us. Go vote. Come back. Listen to the rest of our IsacParedes. I was gonna say paraphernalia. That is not the correct word that I'm looking for. Propaganda. That's the correct P word that I was looking for. Listen, words are hard, guys. My Adderall has fully worn off, so there's only so much brain power I have left after dealing with my children in the summertime.
They are free now.
Yeah. Yes. But the fact that man has a 133 OPS plus, a 133 OPS plus, people, that means he's 33% better than your average big leaguer. He is 33% better than. He has a 254 batting average, a 359 on base percentage, a 474 slug. Hi, IsacParedes. We've not missed a beat over there at third. Okay? Everyone's like, oh my gosh, how are they doing this without Kyle Tucker, without Alex Bregman? I'll tell you. Enter IsacParedes and JeremyPeña into the chat. I hesitate to ask my next question, Tom.
Why?
What do you mean, why? I'm assuming that you can guess what my next question is going to be about.
Oh, no, I'm not that good.
At what point do we have to throw our disdain of Jake Meyers to the side and ask, is this for reals? Is this the guy, or is it a fluke?
So I've thought about this because we talked about this before we were going to record or whatever, just in passing. And I'm going to take this opportunity to give Chas McCormick praise, because I believe that the reason Jake Meyers is playing to this level, and to be fair, Chas and Jake are real good friends, is because Jake took a page out of Chas's book. He's going the other way. He's being more patient. He's going to the opposite field, and I think it's because him and Chas have been hanging out, and Chas has got this man right. I'm only half joking. I mean, I do believe Jake Meyers has fixed some stuff, and I do believe he has become a serviceable hitter. I really do. I still have my qualms with him as a center fielder with the arm. I'm not gonna.
What are you talking about? His noodle arm is so strong. It's so strong, Tom.
And me and him should be like, I should be a fan of his. I really should, because he throws left. I'm a lefty, so that's cool. However, I don't love that certain teams are going to take an extra base on Jake Meyers, and in a postseason setting, I really think that's really important to keep singles to singles as opposed to turning a single into a double, which we've seen.
I'm just saying, Jake Meyers, I dislike you less than I have in past seasons. So I need you to let Cam Smith throw the ball. Okay? If it's close, if Cam can get there, I need you to let that young motherfucker catch that ball and throw it. Because they're not running on Cam's arm. They're not testing Cam. Because they know that Cam is going to throw and get in the general vicinity of where it needs to be. Okay? He's not Uncle Mike throwing seeds to first. Okay? But I feel like it's going to get there. We forget at this point in time last season, literally last year, people, he was in the College World Series. He was playing College World Series. He is a baby, a literal baby. Good Lord.
I do love that the league has already picked up that he is not to be trifled with. I love the respect that Cam Smith gets in right field. I think Cam Smith is going to be a Gold Glove caliber right fielder, and this is his first year to ever play it in any capacity, which is crazy. Phenomenal athlete. I do believe that Cam Smith deserves a lot of credit for why the Astros are where they are. His young energy, I think, is awesome for a club that's just been grinding for the better part of a decade, just win after win after win. I think what makes the Astros so great and what's made them so great over this time period is they've been able to infuse young energy into this ball club over and over and over and over again. From JeremyPeña to Cam, even some of the pitching. I mean, look at Hunter. There was a dust up the other day, and Hunter wanted all the smoke. And, when you have players like that, I think the old war dogs that have been doing it forever, the Tuves, Seawalk, some of those guys, I think that puts them in another gear. And for me, I think it's awesome when, you have that sort of energy, that kind of vibe. I'm not a vibes person, but Suzy's a vibes person. So the vibes are high when you have the young guys in the locker room like that. And Cam has been all of that. You see him drive in runs and instant energy. You see him hit a double, instant energy. And I don't know if the Astros are there without him.
Cam Smith has the Riz, as the kids like to call it, the aura. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to give Cam all of the gold stars, all of the cookies. I mean, the man has I say man, he's a man, but like he's literal a baby. A 109 OPS plus, guys. A 109 OPS plus. And he's still learning right field. Mind you, this is the same guy that literally played 30-ish minor league games in the Cubs organization, and none here in Houston, none in Sugarland or in Corpus, and is learning on the fly. Big league pitching on the fly with a 109 OPS plus. And even from the get-go, he has not looked overmatched. They had been working with him about trying not to be as tame, being a little bit more aggressive, not taking as many pitches. But the fact that he can get up there and work an at bat, and it's not a Yainer. I love Yainer Diaz. I am the biggest Yainer Diaz stan. Everybody who follows me on social media, follows this podcast, knows that I love Yainer Diaz. But that motherfucker is swinging first pitch, regardless if it is in the zone or if it's 3 feet out of the zone. He is swinging. Cam is a lot more measured at the plate than Yainer Diaz. And the fact that he can work walks, love it. Give me all of that. Give me all of that. The fact that Cam has done that. Jake, like I said, has a 119 OPS plus this season, and that's higher than his original rookie season. Okay, we are back. Apparently my internet decided not to be happy. The internet knew that I was talking about Jake Meyers and was like, nope, we're not doing that.
Suzy's in danger.
Nope. You are not allowed to talk about Jake Meyers. Absolutely the fuck not. Which brings me to left field. Left field has been kind of a rotating place that Jose Altuve has been, but we're going to save the Jose Altuve talk for just a minute. And I gotta give the credit to our left fielder over there that had been doing better at the plate, and just in a freaking accident rolls his freaking ankle and is no longer there. Like Jacob Melton, you want to talk about needing a left-hander? I'm pretty sure had he not rolled his ankle, we would not be talking about needing a left-handed bat. Like that, Jacob Melton, here you are. And I feel so badly for this kid that it's just been one injury after another, and it's just the kid cannot catch a break. And now we have like CooperHummel out there in left. That's what's happening, guys. Your Astros are winning with bats like CooperHummel and Luis Guillorme in the mix. I will give Luis Guillorme all of the flowers. I will tip my hat for all of his defensive prowess. His glove, chef's kiss. But that bat, good Lord, is just not so good. Not so good.
I really am interested in when this club gets healthy. And I really feel like no one's talking about the Astros, and they should be, because they're able to be 12 games over 500 with all the things that we just spoke to. What are you going to do when Jacob Melton comes back, who I think initially had all the jitters, right? This is a guy that had been touted as one of the top prospects in the organization, and they were patiently waiting to bring him up. They finally bring him up. He'd been at AAA for a while, and, he came in spring training. People thought maybe it didn't happen.
Well, and if Cam Smith hadn't done what he done, it would have been Jacob Melton that was going to be up. Right? And so it's Jacob Melton was going to get more run if Cam Smith hadn't played out of his shoes.
But then, so he gets up, bat starts off slow. You can just see him uncomfortable. He starts to get it rolling, makes a couple defensive plays, starts to hit, and it's like, here we go. And then he gets hurt. You get him back and healthy, I think now kind of over the honeymoon phase or the introduction phase, whatever. And, that could be a key piece that you add. Dude's got wheels. We saw him fly, beat out infield singles. And that's another weapon that I think when this team is healthy, you're going to have guys up and down the lineup that can steal bags, which has been weird to say. The Astros haven't really done that. And then obviously the power, you've got this. I mean, if you took a Jordan type player off of any other team, they probably struggle mightily to score runs. And early on, this team didn't score a ton of runs, and people were like, what's wrong with the Astros? And now they're starting to figure it out. And I think that kind of like made the bullseye on C walk bigger. Clearly, he didn't start off the way he wanted to, but I think like every misstep just, made him press more. And now, you're seeing him kind of relaxed. Today, in the high five line, he's got the hat tipped up, basically, forward over the shades. Look like a dude who's having a lot of fun playing on a first place team. And I think you're starting to see his numbers turn the other way. And they're able to give guys days off. JeremyPeña didn't have to play the field today, which I thought was great. Yanner got a day off. In seasons past, the Astros couldn't afford to do that. They're in a great spot right now. I don't think Joe Espada gets enough love. I really think that, we were talking on Twitter a little bit. He's done more than Dusty and more with less.
He's done more with less. Yep.
Yes.
For sure. The clubhouse is different. This season has been different. With last season, if we went down early, there was almost no chance of us coming back and winning that game. It was one of those seasons where you're like, okay, they got 3 runs, and it's just, we're not going to do that. We're not overcoming a 3-run deficit late in the games. And this season has felt different. This season has felt, I don't know if gritty is the word that I'm looking for, but it has just, they have a different energy about it. And I wonder if it is because of all of the young kids coming in and kind of that never say die attitude, or just youthful idiocy, this isn't what we always do. We don't hit all of our runs with 2 outs. Is this not what that team last year did? No? Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that sounds fun. Let's and so, but now when we go down, I have hope. There is a glimmer in there. It's actually more than a glimmer. It's like, I wouldn't say a roaring fire, but there in my head, I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. I am okay. I feel like the club has a chance to come back. I know that they are going to score some more runs. And that was not the feeling last season. Tom always has that feeling because that's Tom. Me over here living and dying with each game in April. Okay, that's not me. It is this year, though. This year, I have all the hope.
If y'all don't follow Suzy on Twitter, you really should, because you really live and die every game with her. And I think it's great. Sometimes it's frustrating. So frustrating, because it'll be a random game in the middle of June, and oh my God, this team's embarrassing. And they win the game, but it's that particular inning that just irks her. But
it's when the bases are loaded and there are no outs and you don't score any fucking runs. That's embarrassing, Tom. That's embarrassing.
It happens. Hitting a baseball is the hardest thing on the planet. It happens. I promise. They are not the first.
If you are listening to this,
last team to do it.
If you are listening to this right now, I need you to put in the YouTube comments who you agree with more, myself or Tom. Now, I'm not talking about bases loaded, no outs, and it's the bottom of your order. It's not like Luis Yorme and CooperHummel, and it's not those guys. I'm talking about the bases are loaded, there are no outs, and it's the top of your order. It's JeremyPeña, it's IsacParedes, it's Jose Altuve. bases loaded, no outs, we don't score any runs. Is that or is that not embarrassing? You put it into the comments and let me know which of us you agree with.
Again,
I need to know. I need to know.
Suzy is new to this, new-ish. For people that have been fans your entire life, you've seen it before. You're going to see it again. It happens. It absolutely happens. There are some teams that score all the runs and then don't win. There's some teams that don't score all the runs and then win all the time. It's not an exact science. There's no math to it. You can't go, oh, well, they're supposed to score so many runs with nobody. It just doesn't work that way. I guarantee you, what was it, 2 nights ago? No. Was it 2 nights ago? It was like first and third, nobody out. And Brian Abreu goes, you know what? I'm not giving this up, and locks it down. You know how many Angels fans that are casual Angels fans that probably lost their shit going, we had first and third with nobody out in the middle of our order. How did Brian Abreu strike out 2 dudes and get like a ground out or some shit? It happens. It happens all the time.
No, I'm pretty sure Angels fans. I'm pretty sure Angels fans are like, yeah, that's par for the course. We expected that. We expected that. I'm gonna go on an Angels podcast later, so I'll ask that question.
Thank you.
I will ask that question for you.
I'm looking forward to the answers.
Okay, but again, if you're on the YouTubes and you're watching this, I need to know who you agree with more. Put it down in the comments. Okay. Listen, all I'm saying is sac flies matter, okay? Thank you, VictorCaratini. All right? I appreciate a sac fly so much. I never knew how much I would appreciate sac flies until this fucking season. I'm like, oh my God, it's a sac fly?
That's a win.
He scored a run? I'll fucking take it. I will fucking take it. But apparently, bases loaded, no outs are the Astros Kryptonite. At this point in time, I would rather the bases not be loaded and have somebody come up with like first and third or second and third. If there's a base open and there's somebody in the box, I feel much more comfortable for somebody doing something than if the bases are loaded. When the bases get loaded, I get very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. So I need to know, if you're listening to this and you're not a fan of the Astros, if you're a fan of whatever team you are, I need to know, is your team clutch? Do they do the things? Or are you, like me, a normal fan? Just saying. Yeah.
All I know is like 2 years ago, the Astros couldn't win at home. And home was the worst place to be. Now they're one of the best home teams in baseball. Last year, the Athletics were our daddies. Suzy would go here, the Athletics are our daddies. And then they went and scored 11 billion runs in Sacramento. They split the series, but 2 walk-offs, whatever. And every year it's like something different. This year it's going to be bases loaded. That's just what it's going to be. And there was
last year the A's did not have Nick Kurtz. All right.
They did not. That guy won 2 games for him by himself. Shout out Nick Kurtz, future Astro probably. But
he's first baseman.
Every year, I know, right? Every year it's always something, and you just have to be okay with knowing that your team's going to win more games and they lose. They're going to have a chance to go fight for a World Series ring. And some of the weird, quirky things that happened. What was it, 2 years ago? Was it 2 years ago? Josh Hader was like awful for like the first half of the season. And people were like,
his first season here.
Yeah. People were like, oh my God, biggest waste of money ever. Fast forward, here we are, best closer in baseball. Not even close. And
are we not worried about the home runs? Because
I'm worried about the bullpen having to work their fucking ass off. I'm worried about having to pitch those guys a ton. I'm worried about that. I'm not worried about the home runs. I think that's going to happen if you're out there every friggin' day. Poor Abreu and Hader and King. These guys are like Suzy's famous for, their arms are going to fall off. They might. They're having to pitch a lot because these young kids are getting you 5 and 6 innings, and then they're having to piece it together.
Yeah. Our rotation is right now being held together by bubblegum and duct tape. It's literally Framber, Hunter, Colton Gordon, Brandon Walter, and Ryan Gusto. And if 3 of those 5 names are not familiar with you, then I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know what I'm doing here, because who the fuck is Brandon Walter? All right, Colton Gordon. It's the funniest thing in the entire world when my children, if you're new around here, they're 10. One loves baseball, one does not. But they are both of them are very knowledgeable in the players, who the players are on the team, their names. And so when they see somebody like Luis Guillorme or like Brandon Walter, the other day Zoe goes, "Who's pitching for us right now? Who is that guy? I don't know who that is." And I was like, "That is Brandon Walter. We just called him." Why? Because our rotation is being held together with duct tape and bubble gum, babe. Is he good? He was. He can be. He's decent. I don't know what to tell you, baby. That's who. Okay. Well, who's CooperHummel? And why does he have a batting average of 125? That's not good, Mom. Why is he on our team? It's, because we need a left fielder.
Suzy has created
Jose
that
Altuve is our
monster.
left fielder.
Why is his OPS plus 640 or whatever?
When I tell you that it cracks me up. It really does. It really cracks me up. But it really cracks me up when the one that doesn't actually like baseball will tell me the things and will ask me the things. And not just about the Astros. Like, she knows about the other teams too. And it makes me laugh. She's going to be the most girly baseball knowledgeable person ever as she grows up. Anyhow. But yeah, it is hysterical when they watch these games and they're like, I don't know who these people are. Why are they on my team that I don't know? And so it's same. But yeah.
I mean, but that's what you love about the Astros right now is that they're just plugging in guys, next man up mentality. It's really like you don't necessarily know what the rotation is going to look like. Lance McCullers had finally got his stuff together, and then he got hurt on some freak stuff. And a lot of teams, I'm talking to you, Atlanta Braves, that would probably be the end of their season because you would just dig a hole you can get out of. For the Astros, they've just been plugging away, and I love that they did this against the toughest part of their schedule. Now, they've got some games coming up against some really good teams, but overall, I think the competition isn't going to be as great, and that'll be a perfect opportunity for them to get healthy and get everybody back together and make decisions on what they need at the trade deadline. It doesn't have to be forced, like I think in years past where you really needed to add something to really, make this team go. I think now they're going to be able to be selective. Yeah, we'd like a starter. No, we wouldn't like a starter. Christian Javier threw a bullpen the other day. Maybe he's on the road back.
Could you imagine this rotation of Framber, Hunter, Spencer, LMJ, and Christian Javier? And that's not in any, like, those last three are not in any specific order. Those are just the names that came to mind. And I said them as they came to mind. That's a fucking wagon right fucking there. That is a 1 through 5. There's no fifth starter in that rotation.
That is what I dream of in September. I dream of that being the case, all fresh, all healed, all ready to rock and roll. And one of those guys has to go to the bullpen, which will probably be like CJ, which would be awesome to come out of the, you know what I mean? And go with it.
Wow. That would be delightful. I would love that so much. But let's talk about the upcoming series. The next two homestands are going to be against the Phillies and the Cubbies. The Phillies currently, it will be Tuesday, FramberValdez versus Ranger Suarez, Colton Gordon versus Zach Wheeler. Welcome to the show, Colton Gordon. Here's Zach Wheeler, and HunterBrown versus Christopher Sanchez. So it's going to be interesting though, because Ranger's a lefty. Isn't Christopher Sanchez a lefty too?
Yes. It might work out that they don't have all the lefties to, you don't necessarily want left on left anyway, right? You can load that whole lineup up.
Let's get all the righties in there. VictorCaratini, have a seat. Like, you don't even have to play today. Get you a rest, sir. But then, that means that CooperHummel and Luis Guillorme are in our lineup, and Shea Wickham. So let's not do that. But
no, it does not. No, it does not. Hopefully that means that you got Dubon, power hitting Dubon in the lineup.
You gotta tip your cap. You gotta tip your cap because I saw one of those home runs that he hit today. Multi-home run game. Multi-home run. Apparently he can only do all of the home run hitting in California.
That's it. Home cooking.
But I don't understand how he got to the ball. Again, I wasn't watching the game. So if your eyeballs were on the game, you saw how the fuck he did this. There was one where all of the pitchers were away. The one pitch he got inside, and it was like inside. I don't know how he got to, because on the game cast, it looked like it had, I don't know if he pulled his hands in like real fucking far or what, but it looked like if you were just up there, it would have broken your bat. It would have broken your bat, but he hit it for a fucking home run.
So I watched I can't remember. I think it was the second homer I watched, and I think that's the one you're talking about. And if you've seen Dubon at the plate, when he swings, he kind of has that, like he opens his hips and like steps towards third base when he swings. So that pitch middle in is actually perfect for him. And he guessed right and pulled that over the left field wall. It was really like, okay, the ball's out in front of me where I want it to be. I think his problem is he likes that outside pitch and he rolls over on it a ton because you can't pull that. And everything he wants to do is pull. So it's I think it was really a case of right place, right time. But I'll take it. I'll absolutely take it.
Do you know what MauricioDubón's OPS plus is?
I do not.
An 86.
Okay.
An 86. I don't know how often I have said this on this podcast, but I like MauricioDubón when he is not an everyday fucking player on this team. That doesn't mean that I dislike MauricioDubón. I just enjoy him in the various spots that he can play, and not as my everyday second baseman or not as my everyday left fielder, which he has become essentially. True. And I say this, we've just won all of the games and MauricioDubón has been a big chunk of that. So shame on me. Shame on me. I should appreciate what MauricioDubón has done for this team. But I don't know. Is MauricioDubón the glue guy now?
They've done a really good job about having guys that could play all over. I think the super utility thing has been something the Astros have done a really good job of making sure they definitely had a guy like that. I really feel like before he got hurt, it was Big Z. Big Z was that dude. And that's another name that we didn't even talk about in all of this. ZachDezenzo was the dude that was just, if you didn't know who he was because of Cam Smith, it's because of Cam Smith. Otherwise, it would have been Big Z. And, he gets hurt. And I think that's another guy that when they add him back, they're going to have options everywhere. It's going to be weird.
I did forget about Big ZachDezenzo. And did I get my white boys mixed up earlier? Yes, maybe. I did. As you were saying this, I was like, oh shit. When you were talking about Jacob Melton earlier, I got him confused with ZachDezenzo. You should have at that time been like, Suzy, you're on crack. You're thinking about ZachDezenzo, not Jacob Melton.
I'm a good co-host. I'm going to let you roll with it. They played the same position.
No, at that point in time, you need to be like, Suzy, you are on crack. You need to be like, what are you doing? And then when I double down and say, no, you're wrong, Tom, and then I go look it up, and then I'm like, oh, fuck. See? That's what you had next time, Tom. Next time. Now you know.
What can I say, guys? I've been trained.
Now you know, okay? So if you listen to it earlier and you're like, Suzy, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, hand up. That's on me. I did get my white boys mixed up. ZachDezenzo, Jacob Melton. Apparently in my head, they are the same person.
One bearded, one not.
It's true. Is Zach older than Jacob? I think he is, yeah?
I thought Zach was only like 24. I think Jacob's
I want to
say
Jacob's like 23, maybe.
Let's go find out.
Are you looking up Jacob Melton or are you looking up
I'm looking up Jacob Melton.
Okay, I will look up ZachDezenzo.
Jacob Melton is 24 and 288 days.
ZachDezenzo is, I don't know how old ZachDezenzo is. Let's find out. ZachDezenzo is 25 and 42 days.
Okay, I was backwards.
So, how old did you say Jacob was? 24 and what? Or 23 and what?
24 and 288 days. He'll be 25 in a couple months.
Yeah, so Zach just turned 25. May 11th. Cut May 11th, 2000. So old. Oh my God.
Where were you May 11th, 2000?
I was about to graduate high school.
There you go.
Yeah, that's not alarming at all. Not at all. Yeah, the Phillies are coming into town. Do you think Orbit... Oh, wait. The Fanatic doesn't travel. He doesn't go to away games.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I was going to say, I need like a showdown between Orbit and the Fanatic. And see,
I feel like
who
that's
would
an
win.
all-star game thing, right? Don't they get all the mascots together for that?
I don't know. Someone find out for us, please. I would appreciate that very much. I need a showdown between the Philly Fanatic and Orbit. I would like that. I like that a lot. So, ideally, what are you thinking in the Philly series?
It's going to be interesting. Obviously, when you have your two stud pitchers going in a series, you feel confident that, you can get a series win. Sweeps are hard. I mean, that poor Colton Gordon cannot catch a break because it seems like every time he goes up, he's facing a really good pitcher on the other side. And Zach Wheeler is arguably one of the best pitchers in the game right now. So it's an incredible tough matchup. It'll be interesting to see what the Phillies do without Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is not swinging a bat right now, although they did just beat the Mets. They are playing pretty well. They're a couple games better record-wise than the Astros. But the
literally
Astros
only a couple.
Yeah.
Literally only a couple, though.
Exactly, too. But the Astros play up to good competition, so I'm interested. It'll be a good barometer, see where they are. I know today Jake Meyers was in the 2-hole and didn't fare terribly. And people wondered if, that was something they could see more of. And Joe Espada quickly was like, no. We were giving IsacParedes a day off. Isak will be back in the 2-hole post-haste. So, the lineup looks really good right now. If the bottom of the lineup is going to continue to produce, and then Jeremy just keeps doing what JeremyPeña is doing, they're scoring runs pretty consistently now, which is something last year they struggled mightily to do because, there was just very few opportunities. Now I feel like you're seeing traffic all the time. You get people upset with runners in scoring position. And it's like, well, got to have the opportunity for, that to even be a thing. And the Astros are getting tons of chances.
I was going to try and give the people some sort of scouting report on Ranger Suarez. All I know is that Ranger Suarez is actually a very good pitcher. He has a 2.2 ERA. But when I go to Baseball Savant, it says that my connection is not private and attackers might steal my information. So I don't know what the fuck, Baseball Savant. Get your shit together and update your SSL securities certificate or whatever the fuck that is. But, we say that Zach Wheeler is notably their ace, but Ranger Suarez is no slouch either. And Christopher Sanchez, again, is no slouch either. But the fact that Ranger Suarez and Christopher Sanchez are both left-handed, I'm going to say that those two games will be a dogfight. But I think those are maybe the games that will win. Christopher Sanchez has a 2.87 with 92 strikeouts.
It's very good as well.
Record. I'm just glad that, because I have Jesus Luzardo, I'm just glad that I don't have to figure out if I want Jesus Luzardo to do well or my team to lose. So there's that.
Suzy is a very, very avid fantasy baseball player. So if you follow her on Twitter, you will see her talk about her fantasy teams periodically. And it is not it's not a bad thing. You learn a lot about all the other teams through her fantasy teams.
I lost this week, by the way. I lost this week. I'm very sad.
I did too. Played
Very
one
sad.
of the top teams in the league, and I didn't have any pitching. All my pitchers kind of like went on Sunday and then skipped a turn, so I didn't have all the pitching. I have all the pitching next week, so that's good.
I was the number one, and it lasted all of 1 week. Sad, very sad. Although I only lost by like 40 points when literally all week I had been losing by like 100.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's tough.
yeah. I picked up LMJ on Monday morning,
On injury
literally
day?
Monday morning at 2 a.m. when I could, when all of the moves are unlocked for the week, 2 a.m. That's when this girl, thinking that I was going to be smart, and I'm like, oh, LMJ versus the A's? Let's fucking go. Let's go. That was a matchup that I liked. I was like, let's do it. And then what happened? He went on the fucking injured list. I was all, good. I'm so glad that I used one of my 4 moves on LMJ. Love that so much for me. So much. Anyhow, so you think we can 2 of 3? 1 of 3? I don't think we're going to sweep.
I feel like every time HunterBrown or FramberValdez starts, I feel like the Astros can win. I don't expect it because baseball is baseball, but those 2 games are games that I feel like should be wins. Obviously, the offense has got to go out there and put some runs up. I think those guys have been pretty consistent. Framber, not all season, but for the better part of the last month and a half has been really good. Hunter's just been a Cy Young candidate all season long. So I don't see that changing. The Phillies are really good. They're right there with the Mets in that division. I think they just took over first place in that division. So check on your Mets friends. They're probably not okay. I think they've lost 2 series against the Braves and the Mets, and that's probably the worst thing that could happen. It'd be the same if like losing to the A's and the Rangers back-to-back series is yeah.
So it will be interesting seeing the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber, always a problem. JT Realmuto,
Always a problem.
kind of fallen off. I should know this because he is on my team, and most days costing me points.
Oof.
So, yeah. Trey Turner, still causing problems sometimes. Alec Boehm, I want to say Philly fans want to pick him off a tall building.
Wow.
Yeah. Apparently, Edmundo Sosa was doing all of the things this game tonight and was on cycle watch.
Wow.
Edmundo Sosa. Apparently, Nick Castellanos is going to play defense now. Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Did you hear about that?
Yeah, he was benched a couple of days ago. Him and the Phillies skipper. Why am I blanking on his name? I can see his face.
I'm bad with those names.
Oh, yeah. Ron. No, not Ron. Starts with an R, right? Anyways, the manager for the Phillies. Apparently, he and Nick Castellanos had words after Nick was a late game defensive replacement.
Rob
they put in
Thompson.
Thank you, Rob Thompson. See, I knew it started with an R. They pulled Nick and put in Edmundo Sosa, I believe. And he was not happy about it. And then got sat the next game. And that broke a streak of something crazy like 242 games or 236 straight games that Nick Castellanos has started. Oof. So, but the fact that Nick Castellanos then like asked for like the defensive metrics after every game, that's great, Castellanos, that you're this late into your career and still wanting to better yourself. Like, I love that. But here's the thing. You can do all of those things, but your defense is never going to be Edmundo Sosa level defense. That's therein lies the problem. However, like Edmundo Sosa's bat probably maybe will never be equal to your bat. But who knows? I don't like I said, Edmundo Sosa played today and was on cycle watch, and the homer was not what he was missing. So, just saying.
I mean, I like that for the Astros. I think that, there are certain guys that we face. I'm just never gonna be okay when it doesn't matter what team they're on. It doesn't matter, if they're hot or not. And JT Realmuto is one of those guys. I think he's always done well against the Astros. And Castellanos. And if he's not playing, I feel better. Sosa may be the better play. He may do great, but I'm never going to feel good about playing against Nick Castellanos.
It's fair.
Kind of like not JP France, but Ty France. Ty France. Doesn't matter where he is. Doesn't matter what he's doing. He could be 0 for 100. He's going to go beat the brakes off the Astros.
Yes. So Nick Kurtz is the new Ty France.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to go with. Nick Kurtz is the new Ty. What is it with first baseman?
I don't know.
Aye. Anyhow, but can we talk about HunterBrown and big dog that he is? Because we didn't touch on that. We touched on it briefly. If you missed that game, that dust up, I'm not gonna call it an altercation, because it was not an altercation. Was it even a kerfuffle? I'm probably not gonna call it a kerfuffle either, because I was gonna call it a fisticuffs, but there was no fists or cuffs. And also, how fucking stupid is it that the bullpen, that they share one bullpen door, so the bullpen they have to come in together. Like, both teams have to come out the bullpen door together. Like, what? No. But Zach Neto, what are you doing? You're literally, your toes are on the chalk. You're crowding the plate. Like, I don't understand what you're doing. And then be mad about it. Sir, stop it. Just fucking stop it. Now, Hunter wanted all the fucking smoke. But hats off to Cesar Salazar and Colton Gordon. Just all up in the mix, just right there. And Christian Moore, the literal kid, I kid you not, the literal kid, he got called up last week. Christian Moore for the Angels is their second baseman, I believe. Christian Moore fucking talking shit to HunterBrown. What's happening? Sit your ass down, sir.
I still want to know what he said. All you see is the what the fuck did you say to me? I'm dying to know what he said. I need
Julia to go ask. I need someone to Chandler, Julia, somebody. I need to find out what the fuck Christian Moore said to HunterBrown. I mean, I guess like, kudos to Christian Moore to have the balls to be like, hey, I don't give a fuck if I got 1 day of service time or a year of service time. I'm gonna be all up in this mix. I guess hat tip to you, Christian Moore, but I didn't see Cam Smith all up in there. Like,
he's like, look, I just got here. I need to stay for a little bit before I go fight somebody.
I saw something that Cam Smith apparently doesn't watch TV.
That's interesting, but I'm not surprised.
I don't like. What are you doing with your time, sir? Are you playing video games? Are you reading books? Playing checkers? I need to know. So, Julia, if you hear this, these are the hard-hitting questions that I need you to find out, please and thank you. I think other people would like to know as well.
Oh yeah.
Who do you think would win in a fight though? Like Hunter or Framber?
Hold on, Hunter versus Framber?
No, not against each other, but like in fights. Like if Hunter was in a fight or if Framber was in a fight. Sorry, I worded that improperly.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, Dusty Baker's famous for saying, Hunter's from Detroit. We're not messing with those guys. So I feel like Hunter is the better scrapper. I just feel like Framber is the bigger dude. And, you think about where Framber came from, he's probably had to fight a couple cats. So it's probably a close debate. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that I'm just like going, oh, Hunter 100% or oh, Framber 100%. Like, I don't think like it's like a foregone conclusion that either of them can scrap.
Okay, that's fair. So again, guys, put it down in the comments who you think the better fighter would be, Hunter or Framber. Again, not against each other. Framber and Hunter are not fighting, but in a fight, Hunter versus somebody else and Framber versus somebody else, who would win? Just put it down in the comments. I would like to know this. These are the things that I would like to know. I think we are going to wrap up We're going to do some final thoughts, and then we're going to wrap up because the show is an hour long, which, kudos for us for keeping it under an hour and a half. Hooray. Probably by the time we're done doing final thoughts, though, it will be an hour and a half. So, side note, let's not do that. Tom, final thoughts.
The Astros are in a great spot. I think this team has been phenomenal. A lot of credit needs to go to Dana Brown. A lot of credit needs to go to Joe Espada. Some of these younger guys, Jeremy Peña, I'm talking about you, have really stepped into these roles where they are the new kind of faces of the team. They're really carrying for, HunterBrown. They're really carrying this team to where they are now. Everybody wanted to say the Astros aren't done except for Ben Verlander. Shout out to him. Appreciate him repping the Astros, even though he has no dog in that fight. And I'm really interested to see what they do coming up to the trading deadline. We talked about their pitching. We talked about how they may need starters. They may have them on the mend. Who knows? We'll see. And just really looking forward to talking about this club staying out in first place and locking up another division title.
I want to do a standings watch because that's what I do. I love it. I fucking love it. So I need you guys to know that, again, Houston Astros, AL West, we're on top. 45-33. That is a winning percentage of 577. All right, 577. And if you go to the wildcard standings, we have the same amount of wins as the New York Yankees. Y'all, I need you guys to know this. However, apparently they have lost one less game than us. So their winning percentage is 584, which kind of irks me. Because it's the fucking Yankees. That's why. My child is going to be a baseball player for Halloween, and this little child thought that she could get away with possibly being a New York Yankee. Absolutely the fuck not. Are you kidding me? No. Nope. And she's like, why not, Mom? And then the other one interjected and said, because it's a Yankee. She's not going to let you be a Yankee or a Dodger. She knows me so well.
Tell her to be Tucker so you can walk behind her going, go, Cubs, go, the whole time.
That would be hysterical. I'm not doing that, though. She's going to be Corbin Carroll.
Interesting.
She's going to be Corbin Carroll. So, anyways, I need you also to know that the top record in the league is the Detroit Tigers. 49. 4 games back. We're 4 games back of that record. Everyone said that Detroit was just going to run away. I ain't seen them running with anything. That's all I'm saying. Everyone's like, oh, they're pitching chaos. Fuck you and your pitching chaos. Okay? You and your bullpen games over there. When I'm over here looking and saying, I don't understand what happened. The Tigers are, well, that was a bullpen game. What? I thought your bullpen was really good. Is your bullpen not really good? It can't be both. You can't have pitching chaos and a shitty bullpen, guys. Which one is it? Just saying. Yes, you have Tarek Skubal, but he can only pitch once every 5 days.
To be fair, that's the best record in all of baseball. So 4 games back from the best record in all of baseball.
Yeah. I'm just saying that everyone said, oh, the Tigers are going to run away with it's AL, it's the Tigers. It's not the Tigers. Just saying that maybe, just maybe, people should put some respect on the teams that should be respected.
We know you don't want it to be the Astros. We get it. We know, we understand. However, you can't argue with the numbers.
So, Seattle Mariners are 39-37, 2 games over 500. They are 5 games back of us. That is delightful. Fucking love that. Fucking love it. What I love even more, though, is those motherfuckers in South Oklahoma are 7 games back, y'all. 38-40 makes my heart sing. The Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim Disneyland. Why do you have 2 city names in your fucking, I don't understand. Anyhow, 7.5 games back, 37-40, and the no city designation Aths, 32-48, 14 games back. Luis Severino, different pitcher on the road. When he pitches at home, not so good. When he pitches on the road, very good. So, if you, like me, play fantasy baseball, And Luis Severino is playing. The A's are on the road. Maybe you just pick him up. That's all I'm saying. So, AL West, wouldn't you know it? Wouldn't you know? On top of again. On top again. I think there's a word for that. Isn't there, Tom? Is there a word?
Inevitable?
Inevitable? Is that the word that I'm looking for? I think that is. Inevitable. Inevitable. Side note, thinking about getting a baseball tattoo
I
that
saw that.
gives a nod to the Astros, but like isn't like, hello, the Houston Astros is my favorite team.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. It's
I've
been
done
fun.
pretty good so far being tattoo-less. I think I'm going to stay that way.
It needs to be very small because I don't handle pain well. So I've put it into ChatGPT and it's come up with some pretty good ideas.
The fact that we are chat GPTing tattoos in 2025 is wild.
Well, because it will design them. I have no athletic ability, artistic ability. I have neither one of those things. Okay, either one of those abilities. So I can't fucking draw, but I can describe what I want. So I'm over here tippy tapping my way to a ChatGPT AI generated tattoo on what certain place on your body. Like, how would it look on your collarbone? How would it look on your ankle? How would it look on your forearm? I'm a visual learner, Tom.
Hopefully, we are talking about it on Bourbon and Baseball.
Let's hope. Let's hope. So, again, guys, if you guys have not hit the subscribe button, please do that. Tell all your friends, family, the guy at the grocery store bagging your groceries. Hey, I see that Astros hat. There's a really good baseball podcast you should listen to. It's called Bourbon and Baseball. Tell all your friends. We would love that. Again, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate that you stayed with us this entire time and, didn't run away. I promise we will get back to a more normal recording schedule. I'm not going to guarantee that a certain number, but eventually we'll get there. Okay. So with that, Tom, tell the people where they can find you and tell you that you're wrong about all of the things.
Absolutely. On this YouTube video, I always look forward to seeing those. At Third Coast Tom on Twitter, it's where I am when I'm not doing this. At TC Tom1 on Instagram, we can definitely chat it up there. And yeah, let's talk Astros baseball.
Apparently, my thread about Kevin Durant being traded to the Rockets has now turned into a very big post. Not a very big post, but people are talking back and forth about and I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Absolutely none. So I stare at my phone. I'm all in words.
Is that the Durant trade in baseball terms?
Yeah, but there are people talking under it, and like Ram Shirts is talking with somebody else about how yes, it's this, but not this, blah 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 blah, and stat. And I'm like, can you go fight on somebody else's status so that I don't keep getting these notifications? I might mute the thread, but it's really funny. Anyhow, if you like football, go talk about football with Tom and the other guy.
James Roy.
I remember James. There we go. It was in the back of my mind. James, go talk about football with them because apparently we did football things too.
We did do football things too. The football team's going to be very good. They signed a guy. They signed a guy named Chubb, and and I knew that eventually we would talk football, and Suzy would be excited about getting Chubb.
I can't do it. Like what? How is your last name Chubb?
Two B's.
I need to know when he was like 12 or 13. Was he just a big motherfucker that he could just like wail on people that made fun of him? These are the questions I need to know. Anyhow,
I imagine that's how he became a football player, having to be in the gym because his last name was Chubb.
Okay, so if football is also your jam, go talk with Tom and James over on their podcast about that.
It's called the Bullpen.
Yes. See, I remembered. He doesn't talk about basketball on a podcast, but you can go talk to Tom about the basketballs too. I don't do that. I just do the baseballs over here on Bourbon and Baseball on the Twitter, because it will never be X, at Bourbon. Oh, at Bourbon and Baseball. There we go, up there. I was like, what is Baseball Suzy? Don't at me on that one. That's the personal one. I don't ever use that one. It's just there because. So with that said, we are going to wrap the show up and say thank you and yay, baseball! Woo, and record.